All right, thanks for hanging out again today. You know, I was inspired by the president's speech this week where he claimed to be, I guess, the top president ever in the country. He said somebody told him he was top 3, and it was between him, Abraham Lincoln, and George Washington. And while I am a Trump fan, sorry to my 1 or 2 listeners, if you hear that and now you don't want to listen anymore, you'll just have to get over it if you like the show. But I don't know that he's the best. So today's 10-minute bracket is best president. We got 10 minutes, so let's get going. All right, here's how the bracket shapes up today. We've got 8 contenders. In the 1 seed, we have George Washington. In the 2 seed, we have Thomas Jefferson. In the 3 seed, Abraham Lincoln. 4 seed is Theodore Roosevelt. 5 seed is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. That's right, FDR versus Theo. 6 seed, we put the current sitting president, Donald Trump. 7 seed is one of my all-time favorites, Ronald Reagan. And in the 8 seed, we have Dwight Eisenhower, also known as Ike. Okay, so let's start off with the 1 versus 8 bracket. Okay, George Washington, father of our country. Party, none. Greatest accomplishments? Established many presidential traditions. Kept the young nation neutral in European conflicts. Set the foundation for a stable government and national unity. And he also has that killer painting of him crossing the Delaware on the boat, standing on the bow. That's a tough candidate here. And he's going up against Eisenhower, 1953, 1961 Party Republican. Greatest accomplishments, he did end the Korean War. He did launch the interstate highway system, which I'm very thankful for since I don't fly. And he maintained peace and prosperity during a period of Cold War tension. So while the country did like Ike, the father of our country is going to win this battle. So George Washington moves on to round 2 as he defeats Ike. Okay, now we're going to look at the 2 seed, Thomas Jefferson versus the 7 seed, Ronald Reagan. All right, Thomas Jefferson, strong president. Okay, 1801 to 1809, party Democratic and Republican. So he was both sides of the aisle. Greatest accomplishments, he did complete the Louisiana Purchase that doubled the size of the U.S. He commissioned the Lewis and Clark expedition to explore the West, and that is not to be confused with the Bartholomew Hunt and Leslie Edwards quest to explore the West, the Chris Farley and Matthew Perry comedy from Almost Heroes, in case you're wondering of that obscure reference. Okay, and also he advocated for limited government and individual rights. So Thomas Jefferson, strong president. Ronald Reagan, he was one of my favorites growing up. I wrote him letters. He wrote me back. At least it looked like he did. It was probably just some office that wrote back to kids that wrote letters to him. Anyway, 1981 to 1989, Party Republican. Greatest accomplishments, revitalized the U.S. economy through Reaganomics, tax cuts, and deregulations, strengthened the military and helped bring an end to the Cold War. And he restored American confidence and conservative values. And he was also a very good-looking actor. And the country loved him, at least from my perception. But if we're going head-to-head, Jefferson versus Reagan, Jefferson is going to have to take this win on this one. So Jefferson over Reagan. Jefferson is moving to the second round. Now we're going to Abraham Lincoln versus Donald Trump. That's right, folks. Okay, so first, Abraham Lincoln, 1861 to 1865, Party Republican. Some of you guys may not have even known that. Party Republican, yes. Greatest accomplishment, preserved the Union during the Civil War. And then his greatest accomplishment, issued the Emancipation Proclamation that pushed for the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery in America. So that's tough to beat. Very tough to beat. He also was married to Mary Todd, which I don't know. Like, I did a lot of reports on Abraham Lincoln when I was young, and I know you couldn't smile in pictures because it took forever for the camera to work. If you don't know about that, Google it. But Mary Todd always looked very sour. So he must have been a strong husband there. I commend him for that. And then our current sitting president, Donald Trump, you can refer to him as 45 and 47. He's done many great things for this country, boosted the economy. The Dow Jones has never been higher. Gas is lower. Solving illegal immigration problems, whether you feel good about that or not, that's something you got to deal with on your own. But he's also ended 8 wars. Most recently, he's ended the war between Israel and Hamas. He's working on a 9th to get rid of the war in Ukraine and Russia. You're listening to this and you're so worried that I love Trump so much that I'm going to say he's a better president than Abraham Lincoln. And I'm not. I'm going to have to go with Lincoln. Trump, I love you, but I have to go with Abraham Lincoln. So Lincoln is moving on to the second round. And now we've got the 4-5. And I did this on purpose because I wanted to go brother against brother. Theodore Roosevelt, 1901, 1909. He was a Republican, then later went to the Progressive Bull Moose, championed the Square Deal, which reformed labor, business, and conservation, established the National Park System, which I love because I love the outdoors. And he built the Panama Canal, expanding the U.S. influence globally. He was a strong president. His brother, FDR, I say he's a brother. If you guys think I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. Democratic Party, greatest accomplishment, led the U.S. through the Great Depression. That was a terrible deal. But then he came up with the New Deal. And so that flipped a lot of Republican support to Democratic during that. Guided the nation through World War II and strengthened the presidency and federal government's role in economic affairs. Not to mention the fact that he had 4 sitting terms. So, this is a toss-up for me because I'm not like super educated on these two. But if I got to pick one, I'm going to have to pick the one that was voted in 4 times. So we're going to go FDR to take round 1 and move to round 2. So if you're keeping track, round 2, we've got Washington versus Lincoln and FDR versus Jefferson. Okay, so we're going to start off with FDR versus Jefferson. Both strong candidates. I've made the pitch for both. FDR had 4 terms. Jefferson doubled the size of the U.S. with the Louisiana Purchase, and he had Lewis and Clark explore the West, which led to the gold rush and the migration out west. Jefferson is on money, guys. Jefferson's on money. That's a tough one. So we're going to have to go Jefferson for round 2. So Jefferson is in the championship. Washington versus Lincoln. Washington's the father of our country. Lincoln abolished slavery. They're both on money. One's on a 5, one's on a 1. If we're going like that, we got to take Lincoln. I can't do that next round because obviously it would be Jefferson, obviously. But Lincoln did abolish slavery, and in my book, that's a huge deal. So Lincoln versus Washington, Lincoln takes it. So it's not chalk all the way. Championship round, Abraham Lincoln versus Thomas Jefferson. This is a tough one. It's a toss-up. Both strong candidates, both strong contenders. But with the abolishment of slavery and his marriage to Mary Todd and the fact that he was honest, I don't know another politician that's been called honest since 1861 to 1865. So the championship of today's 10-minute bracket is going to go to Abraham Lincoln. All right, that's our bracket for today. You agree with me? I knew I liked you. You don't agree with me? You're probably wrong. Either way, it's all good. We will have more. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, whatever you do, so the next episode will pop up in your feed. Appreciate you listening. 1 or 2 of you that do. Until next time, there can only be one champion.
It's party time. Time to call Up Next Entertainment. At Up Next Entertainment, you're the boss. They want your party or event to be exactly what you want without breaking the bank. They're a full-service DJ, karaoke, bounce house, water slide, and event entertainment company, serving the area for over 15 years. They can handle most kinds of events, from weddings, birthdays, school events, corporate events, you name it. At Up Next Entertainment, the focus is on you. Call today, 417-551-1294, or check out their website, nextentertainment.com.